There's a heartbeat that stretches from the snow-capped skyline of the north all the way to the golden coasts of the south. A pulse that never really quiets down, only shifts its rhythm. It hums beneath subway tunnels, vibrates through samba drums, and echoes in the clatter of cafe cups against the sound of ocean waves. Here, art isn't hung neatly in galleries. It spills onto walls, dances in the streetlight, and lives inside the people who breathe it every day. The Americas are not made to be seen, they are meant to be felt. In the sweat, the laughter, the rebellion that paints the air. Every city beats to its own music, but together they form a continent-wide symphony that never repeats the same note twice. You can taste rhythm in the air, see color in the noise, and feel history in the heartbeat of strangers. In these streets, even silence has a tempo, and even chaos has choreography. You'll find art born out of struggle, pride sculpted out of rhythm, and identity stitched together with sound. There's a kind of beauty here that refuses to sit still, one that moves, breathes, and burns with human electricity. The cities hum at different frequencies, but somehow, they all speak the same language: passion. Every alley hides a story, every rooftop hides a dream, and every night hides a revolution in motion. The Americas don't care about perfection. They care about presence, loud, bold, unapologetic. You come here thinking you'll watch life happen, but you end up being part of the song itself. And once you've heard its rhythm, you'll never move in silence again. This is art, attitude, and all that noise. Welcome to the Americas. New York City, USA. They call it the city that never sleeps. But truthfully, New York never stops dreaming. It dreams with its eyes open, its veins pulsing with art, ambition, and the electricity of millions who refuse to stand still, even for a moment. Perched between the Hudson River and the Atlantic's restless tide, the city stretches like a symphony of steel and soul, each borough humming in its own key yet blending into a single, thunderous masterpiece. The skyline rises like a crown of glass and iron, shimmering in the morning haze, each skyscraper a monument to the madness and magic of human desire. Born from the ashes of old empires, this metropolis reinvents itself daily, painting over the scars of yesterday with the bright graffiti of tomorrow. History walks beside you here, in the creak of the Brooklyn Bridge, in the quiet dignity of Ellis Island, in the torch of Lady Liberty that still burns for every dreamer crossing invisible oceans. But it's not the monuments that define New York, it's the heartbeat between them, the living art that spills onto the streets in jazz notes, dance steps, and walls covered in color that refuses to fade. Every block is a page of a story too vast to finish, a collage of laughter, arguments, and languages intertwining like threads in a cosmic fabric. The air smells like roasted peanuts, exhaust, rain-soaked pavement, and possibility, a scent that somehow feels both chaotic and comforting. The architecture is a conversation between eras. Gothic whispers in cathedrals, Art Deco declarations in the Chrysler Building, and the futuristic gleam of one-world trade defying gravity itself. In the subway tunnels, life hums beneath the city's skin. Buskers play symphonies to strangers, and the walls carry poetry written in the dust of 1,000 hurried footsteps. Central Park unfurls in the center, like a breath between verses, its emerald veins pulsing with life, where pigeon, poets, and lovers share stolen moments beneath the canopy of restless trees. Every season here feels like a different personality. Spring dances with cherry blossoms, summer burns with sweat and laughter, autumn sets the city on fire with amber leaves, and winter hushes it all in a blanket of white reflection. The food alone could tell the story. Smoky bagels from corner delis, melting pizza slices dripping over napkins, infusion dishes born from generations of travelers who decided to stay. The people are walking symphonies, impatient, fearless, magnetic, each one carrying a piece of another country, another rhythm, another dream, yet somehow belonging entirely to this city. Even nature finds its stage here. Hawks nesting on ledges, flowers breaking through sidewalks, trees bending toward neon light instead of sunlight. The museums hold the world's masterpieces, but the real art lives outside, on the pavement, in the laughter echoing through the alleyways at midnight. There's something intoxicating about how noise becomes music here. Sirens blending with saxophones, footsteps becoming percussion, and a heartbeat syncing to the rhythm of distant traffic. Every night, the skyline transforms into a mirror for the stars that the city stole from the sky, but gave back in light. Somewhere between chaos and harmony, New York teaches you that beauty doesn't have to be quiet to be profound. It's a place where ambition feels contagious, where even the pigeons seem to walk like they've got an audition. The city wears its scars like jewelry, polished by time, proud in its imperfection, glowing with the energy of constant reinvention. And though millions pass through, only a few truly hear the music beneath the noise, the soft hum of history and hope in perfect dissonance. Travel tip: leave the map in your pocket and follow the rhythm instead. Every wrong turn here leads to a story worth keeping. Because in the end, New York doesn't just show you who it is, it reminds you of who you might become. Miami, USA. If cities had moods, Miami would be that wild friend who dances barefoot at sunrise, smells like sunscreen and espresso, and never apologizes for being too much. Set between the turquoise Atlantic and the endless wetlands of the Everglades, Miami feels less like a city and more like a living pulse wrapped in palm leaves and neon. Its skyline glitters like a fever dream, towers of glass rising over water so blue it looks photoshopped. This place isn't about perfection, it's about energy, about the way sunlight hits your skin, and suddenly you remember what happiness tastes like. Every neighborhood here feels like another country. Little Havana smells like cigars and sugar. Wynwood looks like an open-air gallery. And Coral Gables feels like a Mediterranean postcard lost in time. History hides under the shimmer. Hurricanes have torn it apart. But every time, Miami rebuilds, louder, brighter, and more confident than before. The architecture is part retro fantasy, part modern sculpture, curved facades, pastel colors, and the kind of glamour that refuses to grow old. The food scene? It's wild. Ceviche by the ocean, pastelitos from a corner bakery, and late-night tacos with strangers you'll never forget. Even the coffee here has attitude. Strong, sweet, unapologetic, like the people who make it. The vibe is tropical chaos with a pulse. Waves, bass drops, laughter, and the hum of air conditioners battling the eternal summer. You can spend your morning paddleboarding with dolphins and your evening dancing under pink lights in South Beach. Same city, different universe. The ocean isn't just a view, it's part of the conversation, whispering against the shore like it's gossiping with the wind. Everyone here shines, not just from sweat or sunblock, but from the kind of confidence that can only come from living close to the edge of paradise. Art spills everywhere, in galleries, on walls, on people's skin, as if the whole city refuses to stop creating. Nature sneaks in between the chaos, iguanas on sidewalks, orchids in balconies, flamingos waiting where skyscrapers touch the clouds. Even rain here feels theatrical, falling hard and fast, then vanishing like it never happened, leaving the streets gleaming like mirrors. Miami isn't just seen, it's felt, like bass you can't turn down, like sunlight you can't hide from. It's chaotic, sensual, impossible, and yet every moment feels exactly right. People here don't rush. They glide, they groove. They live like tomorrow is just another chance to dance. There's an unspoken rule. No one comes to Miami to be quiet. You come here to feel alive. It's a city made for movement, for color, for heat that feels like it's part of your bloodstream. And just when you think you've seen it all, it surprises you again, with a smile, a storm, or a song in the distance. Travel tip: wake up early, grab a cortadito, and watch the sunrise at South Point Pier. It's the one place the chaos pauses just long enough for you to breathe it all in. When you leave, you won't remember every sight. You'll remember how the city made your pulse speed up and never slow down again. Los Angeles, USA. Los Angeles isn't just another city on the map. It's an entire universe of dreams and contradictions, where golden sunlight collides with the restless hum of ambition. And every street corner feels like the opening scene of a movie you've somehow wandered into. Sitting gracefully between the wild pulse of the Pacific Ocean and the stoic calm of the San Gabriel Mountains, LA stretches endlessly like a mirage made of glass, palm trees, and burning imagination that refuses to dim even when the city goes quiet. This is the place where stories begin. From Spanish settlers and silent film stars to tech rebels and street poets, all chasing the same intoxicating illusion that anything, absolutely anything, can happen here. The history of Los Angeles reads like a screenplay written by fate itself. Gold rushes, earthquakes, movie sets, riots, and rebirths, all layered into one sprawling narrative of resilience, reinvention, and relentless creativity. Walking along Hollywood Boulevard, you can almost hear the ghosts of old film reels spinning. The cracked stars beneath your feet whisper secrets of glory, heartbreak, and the kind of madness that turns ordinary people into legends. The city's architecture is as diverse as its people. Sleek, modern towers of steel reflecting the sunset beside Spanish colonial bungalows, each building a visual echo of a dream someone once dared to make real. From the futuristic shimmer of the Walt Disney Concert Hall to the old-world grace of Union Station, Los Angeles tells its story in stone, glass, and rhythm. Down by the ocean, Venice Beach feels like the world's most colorful circus. Roller skaters gliding to funk music, street performers juggling fire, and sunsets that look like someone spilled paint across the sky. Downtown OLA hums with energy, street murals exploding in color, rooftop bars glowing like constellations, and art galleries breathing new life into old warehouses once left for dust. The city's food scene is a living, breathing reflection of its soul, bold, unpredictable, and unapologetically multicultural. Blending flavors from 100 homelands into something uniquely Californian. You can devour a taco al pastor that tastes like poetry on a plate, then turn the corner and sip handcrafted matcha from a minimalist cafe that looks straight out of Tokyo. In Los Angeles, food isn't just nourishment, it's a conversation between continents, a love letter to migration, and a tribute to the art of reinvention. The people who live here are characters from every possible storyline. Dreamers, creators, hustlers, philosophers, all orbiting around the same burning sun of ambition. The palm trees, tall and theatrical, sway like living exclamation points, framing the skyline with a confidence only nature could design. At night, the city transforms. The boulevards shimmer like veins of light. The hills whisper with the sounds of coyotes. And the ocean keeps time like an ancient metronome. Up in the canyons, the air tastes of eucalyptus and possibility. You can see mansions glittering through the fog like constellations trying to touch the earth. The flora here thrives against the odds. Desert cacti beside blooming bougainvillea, stubborn jacarandas painting entire neighborhoods violet every spring, as if the city itself were celebrating survival. And the fauna, from seagulls circling Santa Monica to coyotes prowling Griffith Park, reminds you that nature never truly surrendered to the sprawl. It simply adapted to coexist. Art in Los Angeles is everywhere, not confined to museums like LACMA or the Broad, but splashed on alley walls, tattooed on arms, and pulsing through late-night music echoing from open windows. The Getty Center, perched high above the chaos, gleams like a marble spaceship, a temple of light and art that makes you forget you're still inside a city. This is a place of contradictions, wealth and struggle, beauty and smog, silence and sirens, yet it's those very contrasts that make it magnetic. The rhythm of LA is its own language. Car horns harmonizing with mariachi trumpets, surf waves syncing with studio beats, traffic lights blinking like heartbeat monitors of modern life. If you want a secret local tip, wake up early, drive to Griffith Observatory before dawn, and watch the first sunlight pour across the city. For one brief moment, Los Angeles will belong entirely to you. In the end, this isn't a city you can summarize or define. It's something you have to experience, feel, and survive, like a fever dream wrapped in golden light and noise. Because in Los Angeles, art isn't a gallery, attitude isn't a choice, and the noise isn't chaos. It's life itself. San Francisco, USA. San Francisco rises and falls like a poem carved into the hills, where fog drapes itself over the city like silk, and every street seems to be holding its breath between ocean breeze and human hope. Built upon 7 hills that tumble into the bay, the city feels as if it's balancing delicately between earth and imagination, between nostalgia and the neon shimmer of tomorrow. The Golden Gate Bridge stretches across the strait like a dream made of iron, glowing fiery orange through the morning mist, as if the sun itself were trying to cross into another world. History here is never silent. It echoes in the clatter of cable cars climbing impossible slopes, in the Victorian houses that survived fire and quake, and in the whispers of sailors who once called this port the edge of the world. Chinatown breathes with incense, red lanterns, and the laughter of generations that turned exile into belonging, cooking centuries of resilience into every bowl of noodles. Down by the water, Fisherman's Wharf smells of salt, crab shells, and stories told in every language under seagull cries that sound like arguments with the wind. At Alcatraz, the wind still carries the voices of the imprisoned and the dreaming, proof that even isolation can't silence the human hunger for freedom. The city's architecture is a mosaic of ambition. Elegant Queen Anne's painted in candy colors beside sleek towers of glass, all leaning together as if gossiping about time. The streets curve like sentences written by a restless author, every turn revealing another postcard moment that feels half real, half myth. Cafes hum with jazz and laptop clicks, where baristas and poets share the same caffeine-fueled purpose of chasing light through words. Food here is a carnival of cultures. Sourdough born from the gold rush, dim sum steaming in bamboo towers, burritos as big as dreams in the mission. The locals move with a calm intensity, half hippie, half innovator, carrying both protest signs and startup pitches in the same backpack. Murals bloom on alley walls like political prayers, blending color with rebellion in a city that's never been afraid to shout. The fog, affectionately called Carl, rolls in each afternoon like a moody artist, hiding and revealing the skyline in slow, dramatic gestures. Nature here is not decoration, but presence. Pelicans dive near the piers, sea lions bellow like drunk poets, and wildflowers cling to cliffs that fall into blue infinity. The air tastes of eucalyptus and possibility, a reminder that this city is an experiment still unfolding. From Coit Tower, you can see both opulence and homelessness, beauty and burden coexisting like two sides of the same coin. The hills at sunset blush with pink light, turning the streets into rivers of gold and the windows into mirrors of someone else's story. At night, the skyline glitters quietly, as if the city itself were dreaming of all the people it's ever hosted. Sailors, artists, revolutionaries, tech prophets. The wind at Twin Peaks feels like applause from the universe, wild and sincere, shaking the city awake. Botanical gardens cradle rare species from every continent, proving that diversity here isn't theory, it's biology. Locals talk to the fog like an old friend and treat the sea like a restless neighbor. The trick for travelers? Dress in layers. In 1 hour, you'll feel 4 seasons, and the fog always wins. San Francisco is both fragile and fearless, stitched together by bridges and dreams, and the stubborn hope that beauty still matters. It's a city that doesn't simply exist. It performs, breathes, and believes in its own impossible rhythm. Chicago, USA. Chicago is a poem of wind and water, where steel spires rise like prayers and the lake shimmers like an unfinished thought waiting for morning light. The city feels alive even when it's quiet, its pulse hiding beneath the rumble of trains and the sigh of waves against the shore. Every dawn begins with the sound of seagulls and the smell of coffee drifting between the canyons of glass and stone. The architecture doesn't just stand, it speaks. It tells the story of human endurance, of art disguised as engineering, of dreams solidified in steel. The skyline looks eternal from afar, yet up close you can feel its fragility, a reminder that beauty often requires both balance and bravery. In Grant Park, the trees whisper stories older than the skyscrapers, their leaves catching the same light that glints off metallic towers above. At the Art Institute, time pauses, marble floors reflecting footsteps of strangers who come seeking meaning in brush strokes older than memory. The river bends like a sentence searching for its ending, its green reflections painting poetry onto the facades of progress. The smell of deep dish pizza and roasted chestnuts collides with the scent of rain on pavement, a fragrance that somehow feels like belonging. Music here is not background noise, it's heartbeat, the soulful cry of blues blending with the laughter of summer festivals. The people of Chicago carry both kindness and caution, smiling at strangers, but always aware that winter demands preparation. When snow falls, the city slows into a beautiful kind of silence, the kind where sound itself feels sacred. Spring brings tulips and hope, the streets thawing into laughter, the parks filling again with picnics and sunlight. Summer turns the lake into a mirror for the sky, boats drifting like thoughts, and fireworks painting reflections on water that refuses to stay still. Autumn feels cinematic, long shadows, the taste of caramel corn, the sound of jazz leaking from hidden doorways. The skyline glows gold at twilight, skyscrapers catching the last rays like open hands. The wind, always restless, becomes a companion, harsh, honest, and impossibly alive. Street murals tell stories in color that words could never hold, celebrating identity, struggle, and joy in equal measure. In every neighborhood, from uptown to Pilsen, you can hear the hum of cultures layered like melody and harmony. Chicago doesn't pretend to be perfect. It wears its scars like medals, proof that survival can be beautiful. The lake, infinite and moody, feels like a horizon that never stops inviting questions. Standing at Navy Pier with wind in your face, you understand why this city breeds artists. It's impossible not to feel something vast. Local secret: take a nighttime stroll along the Riverwalk when the city lights dance. It's where Chicago shows you its gentler side. Some cities shout, some whisper, but Chicago sings, low and steady, a tune of endurance, hope, and human warmth. And when the wind finally stills, you realize it's not just air moving. It's the soul of a city still dreaming with its eyes open. Mexico City, Mexico. Rising from the dust of ancient lakes, Mexico City is a dream painted over centuries, where mythology still drips from the edges of skyscrapers. It sits high in the Valley of Mexico, ringed by mountains and restless volcanoes, as if the earth itself refuses to forget its sacred origins. Beneath its crowded streets lies the ghost of Tenochtitlan, a city that once shimmered on water, now buried beneath asphalt and ambition. History here doesn't sleep. It hums beneath your skin like an electric current that never fades. You walk through centuries in minutes. Aztec temples, colonial cathedrals, and ultra-modern glass towers all woven into one surreal tapestry. The Palacio de Bellas Artes glows at sunset, its marble walls like frozen music, its murals telling stories that no textbook could hold. Every building seems alive, breathing the contradictions of art and politics, beauty and rebellion. In the neighborhoods of Roma and Condesa, creativity spills into the streets, with cafes humming to jazz and murals blooming on crumbling walls. Mexico City's soul is written in color. Turquoise tiles, golden domes, crimson chilies, and the cobalt blue of Frida's Casa Azul. Its people embody resilience, shaped by earthquakes, revolutions, and the eternal rhythm of fiestas and funerals. The cuisine is poetry, mole simmering for days, tamales wrapped like secrets, and smoky mezcal that burns and heals in the same breath. But hidden among all this beauty are whispers of something older, deeper, stranger. Some say at night, under the full moon, shadows gather in the ruins of Templo Mayor, dancing to drums no one can hear. Others believe the canals of Xochimilco still echo with the cries of La Llorona, the weeping woman searching for her lost children. Whether myth or memory, these stories are the city's heartbeat, an eternal bridge between the living and the dead. Nature still claims her space here. Jacarandas painting the avenues purple each spring, and hummingbirds darting like living jewels. Chapultepec Castle, perched on its hill, gazes over the chaos like an old monarch, half memory, half myth. Below, the park's lakes mirror the sky, reflecting both beauty and illusion. Every sound on the car horns, laughter, mariachi blends into one massive symphony of life, refusing to be quiet. Even time seems to bend here, folding ancient ritual and modern rhythm into one continuous dance. The city's art is not decoration, it's resistance, memory, and prophecy painted on walls that refuse to crumble. You come to see monuments, but you leave chasing ghosts. You search for history, and you find poetry instead. Mexico City isn't a place you merely visit. It's a labyrinth that consumes you, reshapes you, and releases you reborn. And as the sun dips behind its volcanic skyline, you understand, the city was never asleep. It was only waiting for you to listen. Buenos Aires, Argentina. Buenos Aires, the sultry heart of Argentina, stretches along the Rio de la Plata like a poem written in light, sound, and restless motion, where every street seems to pulse with the rhythm of tango and the heartbeat of a city that never learned how to be quiet. This is a city that dances between centuries, where the ghosts of revolutionaries and poets still walk the same cobblestone streets as fashion designers, football fans, and night owls who refuse to let dawn end their music. Founded in 1536 and reborn through fire, invasion, and rebellion, Buenos Aires carries its scars like medals, each layer of architecture revealing a chapter in its never-ending story of survival and flair. The grand boulevards whisper Parisian elegance, while the narrow alleys hum with Latin passion, and somewhere in between, art spills from the walls as if the city itself can't contain its creativity. La Boca, the vibrant district painted in wild blues, red, and yellows, feels like a carnival frozen in motion, where every doorframe becomes a frame for another story, another song, another heart set aflame. Caminito Street is not just a walkway, but a theater of souls, filled with dancers who spin like sparks and artists who splash rebellion onto every wooden wall. The architecture of Buenos Aires is a visual argument between Europe and South America, between order and chaos, between nostalgia and the future, and somehow, the contradiction feels beautiful. In Recoleta's cemetery, marble angels guard the tombs of Argentina's heroes and heartbreakers, and even in death, they seem to whisper the same eternal tango. The city's history lives not in museums, but in conversations, in the smoky cafes where Borges dreamed of labyrinths and Cortázar played with time. Every sip of bitter mate tells you about patience, friendship, and a culture that refuses to rush its emotions. The air smells of roasted beef, rain, and nostalgia, and it lingers like a love letter you can't throw away. Buenos Aires doesn't just feed you, it seduces you with asado cooked over open flame, empanadas folded like secrets, and wine dark as memory itself. Its people are poets at heart, fiercely proud, achingly romantic, forever balancing melancholy and joy like partners in an endless dance. Music is oxygen here. Tango, rock national, and street drummers turning every block into a heartbeat. The Teatro Colón, a temple of opera and dreams, stands like a marble guardian of Argentina's soul, echoing with voices that have touched eternity. In San Telmo, the antique shops and dim-lit bars smell of wood, whiskey, and old stories waiting to be told. Even the stray dogs seem philosophical, gazing through the rain as if contemplating the meaning of existence beneath the city's neon reflections. Nature still breathes through this metropolis, jacaranda trees painting purple canopies every spring, and the river shining silver under a moody sky. Beneath the beauty, mysteries hum quietly. Some say the tunnels under San Telmo lead to forgotten prisons and smugglers' paths from centuries ago. Others whisper that at night, in the Recoleta cemetery, faint tango music drifts through the tombs, played by invisible hands that never stop loving. Buenos Aires feels both haunted and alive, as if the past never left, but simply learned to dance to modern rhythms. Every conversation begins with laughter and ends in philosophy, and every goodbye feels suspiciously like a beginning. The energy is intoxicating, a mix of rebellion, art, sensuality, and 1,000 unspoken poems hiding in strangers' eyes. To understand Buenos Aires, you don't study it, you let it break your heart, mend it again, and set it on fire. And when you finally leave, you'll realize the city never really let you go. It simply changed the rhythm of your soul forever. Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Rio de Janeiro is the kind of city that doesn't just exist on a map, but lives deep inside the human imagination, glowing endlessly like a fever dream made of ocean and mountain, of divinity, desire, and the raw pulse of life itself. It's the place where the sea and sky collide in blue perfection, so vast it feels eternal, and the hills rise like emerald cathedrals carved by the ancient breath of gods who still seem to linger in the wind. The city moves to a rhythm that feels timeless. Samba, laughter, and waves all whispering the same ancient secret, that life was never meant to be explained, only felt through every heartbeat and step. From the first golden light at dawn over Sugarloaf Mountain to the final flame of sunset melting into the sea at Ipanema, Rio reveals itself as both body and soul, both worship and temptation entwined. Its beauty is impossible to contain, the kind that stirs something deep inside you and almost hurts. Because perfection, this raw and unfiltered, demands nothing less than surrender. The history here is far from silent. It sings and shouts in Portuguese hymns, African drums, and indigenous chants that seem to rise from the very soil, echoing stories of struggle, spirit, and survival. The architecture breathes with unruly personality, modernism shaped by madness, cathedrals that stretch toward the heavens like cosmic sculptures, and mosaics that transform ordinary sidewalks into vivid galleries of living art. In Santa Teresa, old yellow trams rattle past pastel walls blooming with graffiti and vines, every inch a declaration of joy, pain, rebellion, or love, painted straight from the heart of the people. The people of Rio, beautiful, resilient, and gloriously unafraid, carry sunlight in their smiles, rhythm in their bones, and an unshakable faith in life's music, no matter how loud or unpredictable it becomes. They live the way the city breathes, deeply, chaotically, passionately, surrendering to every moment as if it were a dance that could end at any second, but never really does. The beaches are Rio's beating heart, endless ribbons of gold, where the line between stranger and friend dissolves beneath the rhythm of salt water, laughter, and the shimmering sun. Every coconut stand becomes a confessional booth. Every samba beat turns into a whispered prayer, disguised as a dance that celebrates both joy and survival. The food feels like poetry you can taste. Acarajé fried golden as the sun, tropical fruit that drips with the sweetness of rain, and black beans rich with stories of memory, migration, and resilience. Rio is alive even in its silence. In the hush of dusk, when the Christ statue turns to molten gold, and the hillsides begin to shimmer with 1,000 tiny lights that look like constellations being born. In those fleeting moments, The city feels as though it's breathing through you, quietly asking you to remember what freedom sounds like when it has a heartbeat. Yet there are mysteries that even sunlight cannot uncover. Legends of hidden tunnels beneath Sugarloaf, of monks who vanished into sea mist centuries ago, leaving whispers behind. Some swear that at night, voices echo through the forests of Tajuca, singing songs older than Brazil itself, melodies woven from memory and myth. Whether myth or memory, thus the city holds its secrets close, the way a dancer hides her final move until the rhythm rises and the music demands its revelation. Nature rules everything here with a fierce hand, yet humanity dares to dance with it, and somehow, that impossible dance not only works, but becomes its own kind of miracle. Rio's contradictions make it sacred. Poverty beside paradise, chaos beside beauty, sin beside salvation, all existing together in one breathtaking heartbeat. Every photograph lies, because Rio can never be captured. It's something you feel deep in your chest, rumbling like thunder before a tropical storm. The rain smells of sea salt and hope, and even the restless wind hums softly like a stringed instrument being plucked by the invisible hand of the Atlantic. You come here searching for beauty, chasing postcards and sunlight, but you leave pursuing meaning, haunted by something you can't quite name. For Rio is not a destination, it's a revelation, a reminder that beauty and sorrow have always been lovers, sharing the same fragile breath. And when you finally leave, a part of you remains behind, still dancing barefoot on warm sand beneath a sky vast enough to forgive everything you've ever been. Lima, Peru. Lima, the sprawling capital of Peru, stretches endlessly across the desert coast like a mirage woven from gray skies and golden memories. where the restless Pacific Ocean sighs against ancient cliffs that seem to cradle centuries of forgotten prayers and untold longing. It is a city born from paradox, a vast metropolis built precariously on sand and salt, at once ancient and modern, proud yet melancholic, timeless yet endlessly restless beneath its soft, shifting shroud of fog that drifts in like a dream. Founded by conquistadors but forever haunted by the enduring shadows of the Inca Empire, Lima has always lived between worlds, between Spanish stone and Andean soul, between the tolling of Catholic bells and the echo of Quechua, whispers carried on the wind. Every street feels like a conversation between ghosts, a dialogue of memory and possibility, as if the city itself can never quite decide whether it belongs to the past it mourns or the future it keeps inventing. Along the coast, the Malecon curves like a sigh drawn in light, a long promenade suspended between the sky and sea, where lovers, poets, and skateboarders share not just the same horizon, but the same quiet ache for infinity. The city's colors are subtle yet endlessly rich. The gray mist of the ocean soft against the ochre of colonial walls, with sudden bursts of bougainvillea that bloom like acts of rebellion against monotony and time. In the historic center, balconies carved from cedar lean precariously over narrow cobbled streets, their shadows falling where saints, soldiers, and storytellers once crossed paths beneath a burning sun. The Plaza Mayor glows with nostalgia at dusk, framed by the golden facade of the cathedral and the intricate Baroque grandeur of the Archbishop's palace, both shimmering like relics from a half-remembered dream. Lima's air is thick with memory and spice, carrying the scent of grilled fish, salt, and smoke, centuries of unspoken stories mingling together in the same invisible breeze. Its cuisine is the city's truest language. Ceviche that tastes like lightning striking the sea, lomo saltado that fuses continents on a single plate, and pisco sour that hums softly like jazz trapped inside a glass. Every bite tells a story of migration and resilience, of Africa meeting the Andes, of Spain finding the sea again, all stirred together in the great simmering pot of destiny that defines Peru. The people of Lima move with quiet, unshakable pride, carrying the rhythm of their ancestors beneath the constant hum of taxis, radios, and the cries of street vendors calling out into the humid air. Art spills restlessly across walls, from the clean avenues of Miraflores to the crumbling alleys of Barranco, where graffiti meets gallery and history meets rebellion beneath 1,000 fractured shades of blue. Barranco itself is a heartbeat made of color, a bohemian labyrinth alive with music, murals, and midnight confessions that drift like incense through the salt air of the Pacific night. The Bridge of Sighs, and they say, grants wishes if you can cross it without breathing, a romantic myth that survives in a city that still dares to believe in miracles and the magic of silence. But Lima also hides its mysteries well. Locals whisper of tunnels buried beneath the old monasteries, catacombs stretching for miles where the bones of thousands rest in eerie, perfect silence. Some claim that on moonless nights, the sea carries faint voices from those tunnels, echoes of monks chanting to an invisible shore where memory meets eternity. Whether truth or myth, Lima thrives on that fragile tension, on the edge between the known and the unseen, the sacred and the profane, the tangible and the dream. Its fog, the garua, rolls in each morning like a gentle secret keeper, wrapping the city in its gauzy veil, blurring reality just enough to keep it perpetually dreaming. Even the sunsets feel like slow, deliberate revelations, crimson light bleeding into steel gray as waves devour the last trembling edge of the day. Nature here is not a backdrop, but a presence. Pelicans soaring above the cliffs, desert winds whispering through ruins older than empires, and the eternal sea breathing against the bones of the earth. And through it all, the hum of the ocean remains constant, a deep pulse beneath the concrete, reminding Lima of everything that came before and everything destined to remain. It is a city that never shouts, yet somehow speaks louder than the noisiest metropolis of glass and neon ever could. Its silence charged with soul. To know Lima is not to see it, but to feel its quiet power, the patience, poetry, and persistence carved into its stones and steeped into its sea mist. And when you finally leave, you realize that the fog has followed you, not to obscure your vision, but to remind you that true beauty sometimes hides itself so it can be truly seen. Havana, Cuba. On the northern coast of Cuba, where the Caribbean meets eternity and the horizon shimmers like glass, Havana rises like a hymn carved from coral, salt, and stubborn hope, a city born from the sea's embrace and the sun's relentless gaze. Founded in 1519, this ancient yet ageless city has watched empires rise and crumble, revolutions ignite like wildfire, and music transformed pain into power until rhythm itself became its form of resistance. Its history is not buried beneath dust but sung into the air, echoed in trumpet notes and laughter that drift lazily through cobblestone streets long after midnight. The old fortresses still guard the harbor, their cannons long silent, but their shadows tall and patient, keeping watch over the tides as if waiting for ghosts to return. The sea has shaped Havana's spirit, sometimes tender as a lullaby, sometimes cruel as truth, but always calling like a voice that refuses to fade. Colonial mansions still rise proudly in the old town, their weathered balconies heavy with bougainvillea, memory, and the scent of old rum and ocean salt. Beneath them, cars from the 1950s glide like polished ghosts through narrow streets, gleaming relics of a past that refuses, with elegant defiance, to die. The rhythm of this city is older than its walls, older even than its wars. It's the eternal rhythm of survival, of faith cleverly disguised as dance, of endurance turned into music. Churches ring their bells beside bars that never sleep, and somehow it feels as though both are preaching the same gospel, one of grace, joy, and human persistence. In the smoky cafes, poets, dreamers, and musicians trade verses for cigarettes and stories, their words rising into the night like incense from 1,000 invisible altars. Food and music blur together here, rum sweet as mercy, beans slow-cooked in memory, and drums that speak a language older than speech and deeper than sorrow. The people carry grace the way others carry wealth, with effortless pride, with laughter that can outlast despair, and with eyes that remember more than they reveal. Every smile is a form of resistance. Every melody a monument built not from stone, but from spirit and sound. The air hums with heritage, Spanish guitar, African drum, Caribbean breeze, each note weaving itself into the living tapestry of Havana's soul. Yet Havana keeps her secrets close. Beneath the cobblestones lie tunnels whispered to lead toward pirate treasures, lost lovers, or revolutionary hideouts long forgotten by history. Some say the sea itself remembers, glowing faintly at night where ships once burned, as if the water still carries their final embers in its depths. Others whisper that the bells of La Catedral ring on their own when the wind rises from the bay, carrying the prayers of the lost back home. Myth and history walk here side by side, arm in arm beneath the same moonlight, both unashamed of their scars and their age. The sunset stains the city gold, spilling fire across domes and rooftops. And for one fleeting heartbeat, everything in Havana feels eternal. The Malecon glows with lanterns and laughter, lovers leaning into the wind as the sea roars below, music tumbling freely into the waves like spilled light. You can feel time unraveling, centuries folding and collapsing into the sound of a trumpet solo rising toward the stars as if to ask for another dawn. Havana teaches you that beauty isn't youth. It is endurance painted with sunlight, salt, and rain. Proof that survival can also be art. Every ruin is a cathedral. Every melody a map that leads straight to the beating heart of what it means to be alive. This city does not move forward or backward. It simply keeps time with the tide, steady, patient, immortal, breathing in rhythm with the sea. And when you finally leave, you'll still hear it in the distance, the rhythm of Havana, echoing like a promise whispered by the ocean. The music never ends. The cities now rest behind us like constellations fading at dawn, bright, beautiful, unforgettable. Their echoes still linger in the air, the hum of voices, the rhythm of footsteps, the heartbeat of lights flickering against the night. But somewhere beyond all that, the world softens. The noise thins into a hush, and what's left feels timeless. Fields bending to the wind, rivers moving like veins of silver through the dark earth. Here, the sun rises slower, and every shadow has a story. You begin to feel the quiet stretch around you, not as emptiness, but as a kind of grace. It's the sound of everything ancient still alive. The breath of trees, the whisper of soil, the slow turning of seasons. You don't just travel through places like these, you dissolve into them. They remind you that wonder doesn't always come in sparks and sound. Sometimes it's found in stillness, in the pause between two heartbeats. So as one chapter fades and another begins, we follow the call of open land and endless sky to find what waits beyond the noise.